Question 86.12. Questioner, is there any other function of dreaming that is of value in the evolutionary process? Answer, I am Ra. Although there are many which are of some value, we would choose two to note, since these two, though not of value in polarization, may be of value in a more generalized sense. The activity of dreaming is an activity in which there is made a finely wrought and excellently fashioned bridge from conscious to unconscious. In this state the various distortions which have occurred in the energy web of the body complex, due to the misprision with which energy influxes have been received, are healed. With the proper amount of dreaming comes the healing of these distortions. Continued lack of this possibility can cause seriously distorted mind, body, spirit complexes. The other function of the dreaming which is of aid is that type of dream which is visionary and which prophets and mystics have experienced from days of old. Their visions come through the roots of mind and speak to a hungry world. Thus the dream is of service without being of a personally polarizing nature. However, in that mystic or prophet who desires to serve, such service will increase the entity's polarity. Question 86.13. Questioner, there is a portion of sleep that has been called REM. Is this the state of dreaming? Answer, I am Ra. This is correct. Question 86.14. Questioner, it was noticed that this occurs in small units during the night with gaps in between. Is there any particular reason for this? Answer, I am Ra. Yes. Question 86.15. Questioner, if it is of any value to know that, would you tell me why the dreaming process works like that? Answer, I am Ra. The portions of the dreaming process which are helpful for polarization and also for the vision of the mystic take place in time-space and, consequently, use the bridge from metaphysical to physical for what seems to be a brief period of your space-time. The time-space equivalent is far greater. The bridge remains, however, and traduces each distortion of mind, body, and spirit as it has received the distortions of energy influxes so that healing may take place. This healing process does not occur with the incidence of rapid eye movement but rather occurs largely in the space-time portion of the mind, body, spirit complex, using the bridge to time-space for the process of healing to be enabled. Question 86.16. Questioner, you mentioned the loss of knowledge and control over the body as being a factor that was helpful in the evolutionary process due to veiling. Could you enumerate the important losses of knowledge and control of the body? Answer, I am Ra. This query contains some portions which would be more helpfully answered were some intervening material requested. Question 86.17. Questioner, I'm at a loss to know what to request. Can you give me an idea of what area of intervening material I should work on? Answer, I am Ra. No. However, we shall be happy to answer the original query if it is still desired if you first perceive that there is information lacking. Question 86.18. Questioner, perhaps I can question slightly differently here. I might ask why the loss of knowledge and control over the body was helpful? Answer, I am Ra. The knowledge of the potentials of the physical vehicle before the veiling offered the mind, body, spirit a free range of choices with regard to activities and manifestations of the body but offered little in the way of the development of polarity. When the knowledge of these potentials and functions of the physical vehicle is shrouded from the conscious mind complex, the mind, body, spirit complex is often nearly without knowledge of how to best manifest its beingness. However, this state of lack of knowledge offers an opportunity for a desire to grow within the mind complex. This desire is that which seeks to know the possibilities of the body complex. The ramifications of each possibility and the eventual biases thusly built have within them a force which can only be generated by such a desire or will to know. Question 86.19. Questioner, perhaps you could give examples of the use of the body prior to veiling and after the veiling in the same aspect to help us understand the change in knowledge of and control over the body more clearly. Could you do this, please? Answer, I am Ra. We could. Question 86.20. Questioner, will you do this? Answer, I am Ra. Yes. Let us deal with the sexual energy transfer. Before the veiling, such a transfer was always possible due to there being no shadow upon the grasp of the nature of the body and its relationship to other mind, body, spirits in this particular manifestation. Before the veiling process there was a near total lack of the use of this sexual energy transfer beyond green ray. This also was due to the same unshadowed knowledge each had of each. There was, in third density then, little purpose to be seen in the more intensive relationships of mind, body, and spirit which you may call those of the mating process, since each other self was seen to be the creator and no other self seemed to be more the creator than another. After the veiling process it became infinitely more difficult to achieve green ray energy transfer due to the great areas of mystery and unknowing concerning the body complex and its manifestations. However, also due to the great shadowing of the manifestations of the body from the conscious mind complex, when such energy transfer was experienced it was likelier to provide catalyst which caused a bonding of self with other self in a properly polarized configuration. From this point it was far more likely that higher energy transfers will be sought by this mated pair of mind, body, spirit complexes, thus allowing the creator to know itself with great beauty, solemnity, and wonder. Intelligent infinity having been reached by this sacramental use of this function of the body, each mind, body, spirit complex of the mated pair gained greatly in polarization and in ability to serve. Question 86.21. Questioner: did any of the other aspects of loss of knowledge or control of the body approach, to any degree in efficiency, the description which you have just given? Answer: I am Ra. Each function of the body complex has some potential after the veiling to provide helpful catalyst. We did choose the example of sexual energy transfer due to its central place in the functionary capabilities of the body complex made more useful by means of the veiling process. This instrument grows somewhat low in energy. We would prefer to retain the maximal portion of reserved energy for which this instrument has given permission. We would, therefore, ask for one more full query at this working. Question 86.22. Questioner: I would assume that the veiling of the sexual aspect was of great efficiency because it is an aspect that has to do totally with the relationship with another self. It would seem to me that the bodily veilings having to do with other self interaction would be more efficient when compared with those only related to self, which would be lower in efficiency in producing either positive or negative polarization. Am I correct in this assumption? Answer: I am Ra. You are correct to a great extent. Perhaps the most notable exception is the attitude of one already strongly polarized negatively towards the appearance of the body complex. There are those entities upon the negative path which take great care in the preservation of the distortion your peoples perceive as fairness ugliness. This fairness of form is, of course, then used in order to manipulate other selves. May we ask if there are any brief queries? Question 86.23. Questioner: is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or to improve the contact? Answer: I am Ra. We are pleased that this instrument was more conscientious in preparing itself for contact by means of the careful mental vibrations which you call prayer. This enabled the channel to be free from the distortions which the contact fell prey to during the last working. We would suggest to the support group some continued care in the regulating of the physical activities of the instrument. However, at this nexus it is well to encourage those activities which feed the vital energies, as this instrument lives in this space-time present almost completely due to the careful adherence to the preservation of those mental and spiritual energies which make up the vital energy complex of this entity. Each is conscientious. The alignments are good. We would caution the support group as to the physical alignment of the appurtenance known as the sensor. There has been some slight difficulty due to variation in the pattern of the effluvium of this incense. I am Ra. I leave you rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the love and in the light of the one Creator. Adonai.